Good morning, Facebook and Instagram. Just noticed there's a lovely new countdown for when we go live. Very handy. So good morning and welcome to my Monday messages. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Rebecca. I'm a homeopath, a holistic life coach, and a natural health advocate. And this is my Monday message, and I pop in here on a Monday, 10 o'clock, just to share a thought, a simple practice, something to stimulate us to get further towards creating the kind of life that we would like to live. And today, I'm very mindful of coming out of a time of introspection, of being inside of myself and just cogitating, quite like that word, percolating, collecting and gathering and storing and chucking some things out and just sitting with others and really recharging as well, actually. And I'm starting to become aware of a need to now kind of turn outwards a bit more and to think about how I'm going to collate all that I've gathered over the last couple of months and to use what I've learned and what I know to create the kind of life that I want to lead for the next 12 months. And this might not be the time of year that for you is right to do this. But I think for an awful lot of people it is, because whether we are aware of it or not, we are part of the natural world. And certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the time of year where the whole world is waking up, where I'm very aware that the birds are really singing much more loudly, much more audibly than they used to. There's many more of them about. They're more active. The plants are starting to flourish and things are starting to bud. It's the time of Bridget, the ancient goddess, and it is her day on February the 1st, and here in Ireland, February the 1st is considered, and has been considered for a long time, the first day of spring. And amongst other things, Bridget is about creativity and creation and all that brings. And so it feels like a good time to be starting to put together a map of how we want to lead our lives over the next 12 months or 6 months or 3 months, whatever feels comfortable for you. And I know that January, and I've spoke about this before, is often a time where we're kind of manoeuvred into creating resolutions and goal setting and being actually very masculine about how we want to live our lives, being very linear and setting a task that we have to somehow achieve. And if we don't achieve it, then there's a sense of failure and the whole kind of cycle begins again. Not very productive, I don't think. And whilst that kind of goal setting and setting a target and working out how am I going to reach it is an important skill, but in my view it comes it's a bit like the cart pulling the horse. It comes in the wrong order. So for me it's much further down the list, if not the last thing that I would consider. So I wanted to encourage as many of you as possible, because I know the majority of you will be women like me, and to honour how we work, which is much more circular. It's much more in tune with a cycle, and obviously our whole physiognomy backs that up, and nature backs that up. We all live in cycles, actually, and therefore leading our lives as if there is some kind of destination that we must reach seems a bit at odds with that. And so I wanted to invite you to regard your destination. I don't even like using that word actually, because it suggests that you've arrived, that's it, no more to do. And that's never the case, really. But to invite you to think about your intentions for the coming year. And this is step number one, really, for me, is to really get into what do I intend to feel during the next coming months. How do I want to feel, either within a very specific area of my life, whether it's my business or whether it's my relationships, my eating habits, my fitness, my health, any of those things, they all kind of lead into each other, to be honest. But you could choose a specific area, or you could just choose generally. Well, I'm aware that I cut out there. The internet dropped. So I hope that I'm reconnected. I was just saying basically that I'm aware that intending to feel generous, honest, truthful, joyous, playful, abundant, whatever it is not the same as necessarily feeling those feelings 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That would be perhaps unrealistic. But the intention, if the intention is there, then we have a really strong navigation tool. And everybody's intentions are going to be different. So spending some time on what your intentions are, I think is a really good place to start, because that's what you will come back to time and time again when you're making decisions and when you're deciding on what action steps to take to help you to feel whatever you want to feel. So thinking about that, how you want to feel and what your intentions are, and really being comfortable with that, and really getting into actually feeling those feelings. You might want to journal on how what would change in your life when you were able to feel those feelings predominantly, or be reminded that those are the things that enable you to thrive, to progress and to grow and to bloom. And that is what we're all hot-wired to do, actually. Sometimes it's very tempting to stay in our comfort zones and to, wake up and in the morning and think, I don't want anything to change. I'm really happy with my life the way it is, and nothing must change. But actually, the fact is that everything changes all the time. So nothing really remains exactly the same. So that's your first step, really, is to really feel into how you want to feel. And feelings are really what drives us, not goals, not stuff, not, another, I don't know, $1 million, million euro, although obviously that would be lovely. But what's more important, and what's going to keep you driving towards perhaps making €1 million, if that's one of your ambitions, is the feelings that are going to be triggered by that particular goal, if you like, that particular ambition. So really, I encourage you to think about, even if you think, well, my goal is I need to earn, €10,000 more this year in my business. Don't stop there. Dig down and think, well, okay, when I get that 10,000, what will that mean? How will my life change? How will my business change? How will my relationships change? What will I feel when I get that money? And that's what's going to drive you, not the money, because you could decide when you look back this time next year, well, I didn't make 10,000, so therefore I failed, and that's not going to make you feel good. Or you could say, well, I didn't earn 10,000, but I got pretty close to it, and that makes me feel good. So that's step number one. And step number two is really looking backwards at your previous 12 months and looking at your successes, if you like, the things, and I don't mean financial successes or material successes necessarily. I mean the things that works for you, the things that actually got you pretty close to how you've identified you want to feel going forward. And work out, well, how can I do more of those things? How can I actually raise the standards a bit and, do it even more, feel those things even more than I felt in the previous 12 months. And of course, along the way, you might be identifying perhaps the things that didn't work so well for you. And so that's an opportunity to tweak those, sometimes to ditch them completely, if you're able to, sometimes to just look at, well, maybe if I did them a little bit differently, can I then add them to my list of really positive habits or behaviours, the things that are going to get me further towards how I want to feel. And the third step in this list of 4 things is to look at your values, your standards, your must-haves. So the things that you just almost without thinking expect of yourself, of others, from your business, from your relationships, from your parenting even. What are your values, the things that are almost hardwired into you? Just look at the things that you think are really important to you and ask yourself whether those values are actually contributing to how you've identified you want to feel, or whether they're actually taking you a little bit further away. And then just examining, could you actually shift those values a bit? Could you, again, raise your standards a bit? And when you do that, they become part of who you are. So they're not an effort anymore. You don't have to keep pushing or working to get what you want from life. Things become just part of how you lead your life. That's part of how you do business or how you conduct your relationships, whatever those relationships might be, how you parent. If you keep remembering that your values, perhaps draw up a template of those values and those standards, the things that they're just not negotiable for you. And make sure that they are in alignment with how you want to feel. So each value or standard that you look at, does it help you feel the way that you want to feel or not? And then the final step, the 4th step, would be once you've done all this collecting and musing and clarification, if you like, then it becomes much easier to identify what your little staging posts are on the map for your coming 12 months. What are the kind of little daily or weekly habits, practices, behaviours, goals, if you like, that you can put in place that are going to help you overall to feel the way that you want to feel and to maintain or instigate or sustain those standards or values that you are gathering in as part of how you operate. So it's a bit like turning everything on its head, rather than making your resolutions first and then working out, well, actually, that just makes me feel guilty or deprived or like I've failed. No, that comes last in the list, because it becomes much easier to identify the kind of things that you maybe want to instigate that you are going to be able to sustain because they make you feel good. Good, bad. I'm using very simplistic language there, but they make you feel how you want to feel: uplifted, healthy, vibrant, joyous, playful, fair, honest, truthful, respectful, whatever it is that you value in any part of your life. Then your action steps or staging posts or stopping places along your map, if you like, along your circular map, will become much more readily identifiable. And you will be able to keep coming back to those things to keep you on track, because it is really easy to drift off sometimes because life's like that. So that's my kind of 4-stage process to really creating your best life going forward, the best life that you're able to create at this time in this year, or this 6-month period, or whatever it is that you're looking at. And perhaps call upon Bridget. And I was going to say Saint Bridget. I don't really like calling Bridget Saint Bridget, because it's a very Christian affectation, and Bridget has been around for much, much longer than Christianity has. But Bridget, if you need to call upon the power of somebody intensely creative and powerful to stand behind you and support you, then she's the one at the moment, because this is the time when the world is recreating itself, and we're not really any exception to that. So I hope you find that useful. If you feel it's all too daunting and you really would like some more detailed pointers or some ongoing support in doing that, then we can work one-to-one. We can work in a group form. We can have a chat on the phone and see what you need, and you can find out more information about my coaching programs, my homeopathy sessions, my group work, all of that, if you click on the link with this video. So, wishing you a really happy Bridget's Day tomorrow, 1st of February, and enjoy the beginnings of recreating, if you like. Have a lovely week. Thanks so much for watching and for listening. Take care.